So next thing I know, there's me and this old lady on the corner of 2nd and Townsend, and we're like this. And we're getting ready to do it, and the cement truck pulls up, and he sees us. And he looks at what we're doing. He knows what we're trying to do. And he starts honking his horn, and he's like, do it for the rest of us, make it real. And like, there's something in that moment that sort of describes the spirit of Famous. I'm not going to talk about what happened. We agreed to keep that between the three of us. But there's this notion that we would crawl through broken glass to make things happen, to make, to try to like bridge that gap between what we dream and what we can do. And there's a lot of that notion in Famous, and there's a lot of that notion in this room tonight. And when I look out at everybody in the room tonight, I just literally stand here amazed at how many people are here. I'm amazed at the energy that just kind of exists in this room. And I'm amazed at just how much I feel connected with the people that are here to sort of like be here to be the defenders of the web. I think about the shared history that a lot of the people in this room have. How many people were here when HTML5 came out with all the grand promises for all of us, right? Come on. And here's the thing, HTML5 did a faceplant. I can't even describe how I felt about HTML5 because Mark and I had bet a company on it. And we started working with it, and it was one of those things where the demos worked great, and then you got to go in and build the real thing, and like the whole thing falls apart. And we were betting our careers, our money, our investors' money on this. And it hurt. And I still remember the day when Mark and I were at our wits' ends, and we saw Facebook pull out of HTML5. We saw LinkedIn pull out. We saw Twitter pull out, and we're like, fuck, I'm allowed one more of those. And we were just like, wow, this is death-defying. And we in this room are here saying that, we want to believe in the web, that the web will have eventually win, right? That it will eventually get there. And that we are like the peloton, and native is out there ahead of us, and eventually the peloton will catch up and overtake. And I'm sitting there, and Mark and I were getting ready for tonight, and I'm just like, what is the thing I need to like talk about or say tonight? And I'm like, why did 1,800 people sign up to go to a meetup during the World Series? Doesn't that sound crazy?
It's an away game.
It's an away game. That's terrible.
It is an away game.
1-1. I think that when you look at why is everybody here, I think it's something much greater than Famous. I think people want a front row seat to see that day that the web does catch up to native and surpass it, and we all get to do the things we all want to do. Am I kind of right a little bit?
Yeah!
I think that we want to be there when the gap between what we dream and what we can build gets so small that we can hop across it. And we all kind of want to say, like, I want to actually be in the room when that actually happens. And we're kind of here saying, like, it might happen tonight. I might see something that's like, there it is. There it is sitting in front of us. I think that when we talk about Famous, it's part heart, it's part where we come from and why it matters to us, and it's part mind, where we look at the code and we look at the mathematics behind it and say, why does this actually work? What is the unmagic about the magic as well? And I think that Famous, it's all about doing magic, but it's about the joy of learning how to do that magic. And I think about, when we think of what is magic, and that, that trying to do the matrix move and actually jump up in the air and produce magic, maybe we're looking in the wrong spot. Maybe magic is actually mathematics. Maybe the wand that we imagine that we are wielding is actually software. Maybe Hogwarts is actually a famous university. And maybe the schools of magic actually exist, but instead of being called Gryffindor and Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw, they are famous. They are Oculus Rift and they are Leap Motion. And we're like, join a house of magic people. It's actually sitting all around you. I think the Leap Motion guys are here. I think I see them straight in front of me. There is magical things all around us. And maybe when we think about magic, it's not this world of magic that matters. It's the stuff up on the screen. And I think we're going to switch to, this is our world. Pretty boring. Right? This is me on 2nd and Townsend Street wondering if there can actually be some magic in here, and I've tried a million times and it's never worked. But the thing about magic and the thing about the wonder of it all is, what if one day, even after you tried 1,000 times, it works? Right? So what if one day you're staring at the Yahoo homepage, and this is the live Yahoo homepage, and you're trying to do some stuff, you're trying to think around, and then one day it just happens. And you take Dom and you do stuff with it.
Hogwarts.
That doesn't make any sense. And once you know that actually magic can exist out there, it doesn't matter what you do to reconstruct it, and even though this is what we still stare at, it's kind of a magical secret we can kind of keep between us all. Who's ready to see some code tonight?
Yeah!
I think we're going to move on to the next thing. And so what we're going to do is walk through tonight. And as Gene said, last time was all about the big companies that are sort of behind this movement we call famous. But tonight it's about meeting the famous team, seeing the code as quickly as possible, and getting to the demos as quickly as possible. So we're going to spend as little time on the stage as we can. And the minute we're done, we're going to clear all these chairs out and head to the demo stations and see as much as we possibly can. So, to kick it off, we're going to actually bring on the platform team, and Larry's going to introduce us to the platform team and talk about the type of rendering engine that you just saw that did the